Hey there, girlfriend. Is your business finally making money now and you just have more tasks than you have time? Well, you have come to the right place. If you've ever asked yourself, how can I hire a VA? We're going to get to the bottom of this in today's video. We'll see you inside. Well, hi there. My name is Ingafay, and I am an authenticity strategist. And in today's video, first and foremost, tell you how to avoid the biggest mistake people have, well, really people do, when they are hiring a VA. That way you won't have to go through what I went through when I hired my VAs. Secondly, I'm going to share information on where you can find VAs. And last but definitely not least, I'm going to share with you what you want to do before you even interview. Let's do this, shall we? So let's talk about how you can avoid the biggest mistake people make when it comes to hiring a VA. So I wanted to share this with you because over the last year or so, I have really started to hire more VAs than what I initially had. And the whole reason was just like I had described in the intro. I had more tasks than I had time. And I just was not trying to work 24/7. I wanted to have some kind of integration in my life, which had a little light, had life and business together, not all business. Can you feel me? Well, if this is you, I definitely wanted to share some of the trials and tribulations that I went through, and I wanted to help you to avoid the learning curve that I had. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I have noticed that people do is they want the VA to be a mind reader. They think, okay, I'm hiring a social media manager. So, the social media manager is supposed to know what I want to post for my business. Not happening, girlfriend. So the first thing that I wanted to recommend that you do is make sure that you write down the different tasks that you want your VA to perform, that you physically want them to perform. Yeah, they may know that they should post every day, okay? But they don't know if you want them to do shorts or reels. They don't know if you want them to do long form or short form video. They don't know if you want them to do a picture or an actual graphic that they do on Canva that they create. All of these different specifications that you have for your business is specific for you. So you cannot expect that the VA that you're hiring is going to be a mind reader and know what you want them to do. So it's very important that you write down every task that you want them to do and put it in a form or in a system that will allow them to be able to check off the different tasks. Because we both know, you as well as me, that when it comes down to doing things repetitively over time, that there's sometimes that we forget what to do. So how do we avoid missing something that we need to get done? We write it down. And that's what you're going to do with your VA. You're going to have a system on how they actually do the work that you have them to do. And that is a system that you both can interact with and monitor on how that is done. Now, just as a recommendation, you could have just a checklist. I know initially when I hired my VA, the first time I hired a VA, we had a little checklist that we would go through, that they would go through and kind of check it off. Now, I've become a little bit more tech savvy with this. And I have done actually checklists in Trello as well as in Asana that will allow me to allow them to check it off. Either way, whether you do something via a Google Doc or in Asana or in Trello, you want to make sure that you have that work process available for them to understand and learn from you what you want them to do and not expect them to be a mind reader. Now, before we go on to how you can find your VA, I want to remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We upload a video every Thursday for your viewing pleasure, and we don't want you to miss a beat. So be sure to subscribe. So now let's talk about where can you find this VA. Now, there are several different sites like Fiverr and Upwork that you can go through to find the VA that you want. You can actually find the VA according to the amount of money you want to pay per hour. And then you can also find out the different tasks that you want them to do, whether it be a social media manager or a video editor or a bookkeeper. you could decide what type of VA that you're looking for and find it based on those type of skills. So you have Fiverr, you have Upwork. Now, I have used both of these systems, and I can tell you that I've hired people in both ways. I feel, this is my personal but humble opinion, that Fiverr and Upwork are great for one-time type of work. In the past, where I have tried to hire VAs from these particular platforms, to me, I didn't really get the quality that I was looking for, because there are two things that people on these platforms are concerned about. They're all concerned about their rating, okay? And their rating is based on how they complete the work, if they do it in a timely manner or not. And I can think of two people specifically that I hired in the past from one or both of these websites, where they told me, and don't get caught up in this, because I'm giving you a heads up when you hear this, that they were going to complete the task, and that just to go on Fiverr and say that the work was complete, because they wanted to make sure they got a good rating and that they would finish the work for you. Now, in several occasions, this person did do that, but I had one person that got sick. Lord behold, he got sick. And when he got sick, before he got sick, I had already signed off on saying that the work was done, when in actuality it wasn't. And after he got sick, I didn't hear from him. So I had paid him up front as a mistake, paid him up front because he had worked for me over a year. And then when I paid him up front for this particular one, he got sick, and then I never heard from him again. So the work that I had paid for, I ended up having to do myself. So that was a bought lesson for me. And I decided at that particular time, I wasn't going to do it that way anymore. So what is the alternative? You can go to an agency where they have a product manager, where they'll go out and seek the people that you're looking for. So you tell them that you're looking for a video editor, they'll go out and seek people that are video editors, and then they will have you to interview them. So just food for thought is what I'm telling you. If you do the Fiverr thing, or if you do the Upwork thing, make sure that the work before you pay for it is done. Even though they tell you it's going to mess up their rating and all of that, don't fall for that. Make sure you hold steadfast and say, okay, well, make sure, in the beginning, you ask them, do we have enough time allotted for this work? Are you going to be able to do it in this time? Because they're going to tell you what you want to hear, because they want the work. So just make sure that you don't fall for that. In addition to that, another thing that I noticed with Upwork, they have this service where the person that is working for you can just charge you before the work is done. So that's something to be mindful of too. I'm not sure how that arrangement was set up, and I never figured out how I could stop that. But that was something else that I noticed too, that they were going to be they would charge you on a weekly basis as the work was done, more so than charging you at the end. So again, I'm giving you all of these things to look out for, so you won't fall into the trap that I fell into when it came to hiring a VA. And when I'm talking about this, the VAs that I normally hired were overseas. So I will give you that feedback as well. Not saying that overseas VAs are bad, because they're not, because I have them now. But I wanted to let you know that, so you can then have that to think about too, because then there was a time difference that you got to consider as well. Are they going to be able to work when you're working? So make sure that you decide which way that you're going to go. And before I go into what to do before you actually interview your VA, I want to tell you, I will share with you some ways that I can help you find a VA by some means that I think are really valuable and that have really worked for me outside of the Fiverr and the Upwork option that I just mentioned. Okay. All right. So I'm curious. Have you hired a VA on any of these platforms before? And maybe you've had better luck than me, but comment below and let us know. If you had a different outcome when you hired VAs for the other service, by all means share that with us, because we would love to know. All right, so last but definitely not least, I'm going to tell you what you need to do before you actually interview the VA. So we all know what people do in interviews. What do? They tell us what we want to hear, okay? They tell us how much they love our business. They've gone to our website. They probably even looked. Some of them will go to your website. They'll look at your stuff. They'll tell you how great you are. And they're just feeding your ego. And you're just thinking that they are the best thing since sliced bread. And when it comes time, sometimes when it comes time for them to actually do the work, because they have fed your ego so much, you overlook some of the things that you want them to know how to do. So what I want to recommend to you, that before you even interview them, that you must test what you want them to do. You actually give them a test on how to do what you want them to do. For example, when I hired my video editors, I gave them a test video to edit for me. And I gave them the task, like we talked about earlier, on exactly how I wanted this video edited. So that way I could see their work before I actually hired them. Because people are going to tell you what they want you to hear. Well, they're going to tell you what they know you want to hear to get hired. And then when you hire them, you're just like, okay, this person does not know what I need them to do. So make sure that you test the skill that you're hiring for to be sure that the person will do what you want them to do. That I will say that hands down. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me when I did this. So I was working with an agency. The person gave me 6 people, y'all. 6 people. I gave them a test. Okay. Matter of fact, it was just a test within the actual job description. And 4 of the 6 people failed to do what I asked them to do in the job description, y'all. 4 of the 6. So now I'm down to 2 people. Okay. Next thing I did is I gave them an actual test on the task that I wanted them to do. I went down from 2 people to 1 person because only 1 person did exactly what I asked them to do. So at that point, I had a person that I knew that could do the skill that I wanted, and I interviewed them to see if we were a good fit. Now just think if I went through all 6 of those people and I interviewed, and I can tell you, I have done it. I have spent all of that time with them just showering my ego, telling me how great I am, how great my business is, and how they want to work with me. And then when it came time for them to do what I asked them to do, they didn't do it, y'all. So I want you to avoid that drama. Test first before you interview. And then at the end of all the tests, whoever filters out from the test is who you talk to, because those are going to be the ones that are your top contenders. They're going to do what you hire them to do and would be your best candidate. Okay. So in an effort to help you not have to go through all these trials and tribulations that I went through when it came to my VAs that I've hired this year, I want to provide you with a guide to help you by giving you some other websites outside of Fiverr and Upwork that you can actually find VAs, in addition to also some agencies that I have used as well that could also be a benefit to you. If you're interested in that guide, by all means, type the word guide in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.